that you're here tonight, and I promise that you're going to get some information that you can use with you. One of the things that I hope for tonight is that you will leave here and have some strategies. If you have a child that's being bullied, if you have a child that's a bully, or you have a child that's the bystander, that you have some information that you can take with you that will be very helpful. I want to say that after the presentation is over, if you have questions for me, I will stay here as late as I need to stay. If you want to hang back and talk for a few minutes, that would be great. So we're going to start. I talk fast, and I hope that's okay with you. If you're in the back and you think that I'm talking too fast, just raise your hand, because I want to give you as much information tonight as I can before we close. But I would like for everybody to join me in an opening activity. If you'll stand up with me. Stand up, and if you have kids here, have them stand too. Kids are going to like this. So in Australia, before any major sporting event, the people in the crowd do this activity to generate a positive attitude and enthusiasm for what's about to come. So we're going to do that. If you'll hunch your shoulders, lean over, and you're going to rub your hands together like this, and we are generating a positive attitude and enthusiasm for what Donna's going to be talking about. Now, I added a little bit of American James Brown, and it looks like this. Stop. Right now, it looks like this. I feel good. Close with Tiger Woods, even though he's not that popular. Yes. All right, so we're going to do that now. If you think it's cheesy, do it anyway, all right? Because we ask our kids to participate in a lot of activities that maybe they're not that, grateful about. Okay, ready? We are generating a positive attitude and enthusiasm for what Donna's going to be talking about bullying prevention. I'm going to count to 3. We're going to do I feel good, and we're going to close with Tiger Woods. Yes. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I feel good. Yes. All right. You sit down. Good job. Hey, kids, I noticed you did a good job. Good modeling for our parents. How many of you have kids that are in elementary school? Okay, so you're going to identify with this story. Timmy was 7 years old. He woke up one morning and he told his mother, single parent, I don't want to go to school today, because I don't feel well. And she said, but Timmy, you have been sick for the last 4 weeks. Every week you have some kind of ache. And he said, well, today my shoulder aches. And she said, Timmy, do I need to take you to the doctor? He said, no, Mom, I'll be okay. She said, well, I'm going to take you to the doctor anyway, because you've been sick so much. So she took him to the doctor, and the doctor said, Timmy's fine. There's not a problem. She brought Timmy home after he had checked out A-OK with the doctor. And the next week, Timmy woke up and said that he had a tummy ache and that he was not going to go to school. When she tried to get him dressed, he started screaming and said he would not go to school because he felt so poorly. She was very disturbed. She called the teacher, and the teacher said, I have not noticed any observable behaviors about Timmy. So 3 days later, she was at a Mother's Day Out program, and a mother came up to her and said, you are Timmy's mom. Well, my son keeps talking about this bully that's bullying your child. And that's all my son talks about. And then she knew that something was going on, and she found out that Timmy was being shoved into the corridor, that his books were being knocked out of his hand by one particular boy, that he was, since he was a little overweight, he was being called Fatty, 2x4, all of the names, and that this particular older child was making his life miserable. In our country today, 160,000 kids miss school on a daily basis for fear of intimidation, bullying, and harassment. How many of you have kids that are in the middle school or junior high level? Wow, there's a lot of you. Some of you have kids at all levels. You may relate to this child. Her name is Maria, and she's in a clique, and there's a queen bee. How many of you know about queen bees? Yes, the queen bees decide, you're in, you're out, you're gonna wear this to school, we're gonna wear our hair in a ponytail on Friday. This is the actions of the clique. And everything centers around this particular child who's the queen bee. So Maria was a particular girl who had grown up with the same group of girls all of her life, since kindergarten. And Maria loved her friends. During the summer they went to camp together. Their parents were friends with each other. But one day, one of the girls in the clique, the queen bee, decided, I don't want Maria in our group anymore because she's getting too much attention from the boys. So she told the rest of the girls in the clique, when Maria comes to sit down at the cafeteria table today, don't let her sit with us because she is out of our group. Maria brought her tray. She was so excited about lunch because we had time with her friends. She tries to sit down, and two of her friends moved close together. They would not let her sit at the table. She laughed. She thought it was funny. She moved a little to the right and tried to sit down again, and two other friends moved close together. And she continued around the table, and then she got it. No one was laughing. She was devastated because she did not know why she was being ostracized. This continued. These girls, they had parties, they had all kinds of social interactions, and they totally and completely eliminated Maria from their group. What is this called? It is called relational aggression. This is when girls are eliminating girls and leaving other girls out. And it's a form of bullying. How many of you have high school children? Okay, there's a good group of you with this, and some of you are going to relate to this story. This made CNN News. Charles, a high school freshman, didn't have a lot of friends. He was kind of quiet. And his parents said, Charles, for your birthday, you can invite 2 friends over for pizza and videos. And so he didn't know who to invite. So he invited 2 friends that actually lived in his neighborhood. And the friends came over, but they had a plan. One brought a video cam, and the other brought his cell phone with a video cam with a camera on it. So during that night, they watched some old movies, like John Travolta of Saturday Night Fever. They watched Dirty Dancing. And they said, Charles, let's get up and imitate John Travolta. You're first. So Charles got up, kind of lifted his shirt, his tummy. He was moving around, kind of had a big tummy. And he was laughing and dancing and doing this stuff. And one of the boys was videotaping him while the other was taking pictures. 2 weeks later, there was a website put up, and the website was entitled, Why Charles is a Loser. And kids from that school could send in comments about why they thought Charles was a loser. This not only did everyone from the school see Charles, but everyone in the nation saw it. If you saw it on CNN News, it made CNN News. This is when kids are practicing digital bullying. And kids are doing online what they would never do offline. What scares me about cyberbullying is that there's no safe place for our kids anymore. If they're getting bullied at school, then they come home and they're getting bullied in front of their computer or by text messages. There's many forms of this type of bullying, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that. I'm going to touch on that because some of you I know are very, very concerned about the cyberbullying. The last student was a middle school student, and she moved to a new city. The kids that are at highest risk for bullying in our schools are our new kids. If you have a child or if you've just moved here, then that child is more at risk than other kids. This young girl moved from West Texas, Lubbock, Texas. She moved to Southern California. And her first day of school, she wore her jeans and t-shirt. She showed up, and the other girls were looking at her because they were wearing OP shorts, surfer little shirts. They had sunglasses on their head, and they said, "Hi." And she said, "Hi, y'all." And they're like, "We don't say y'all, we say you guys." And so immediately she was left out. And what bullies do when they're looking for kids, they're looking for kids that do not have a support system. So what happened is that this girl named Michelle, who was the 8th grade bully, found this other girl and began making her life miserable. Took her lunch money, pushed her, shoved her, threatened they would beat her up, told other kids not to talk to her, laughed at her, called her names. During lunch, she would hang out in the bathrooms and stand on the stalls so that the girls couldn't find her. This went on for month after month, and no other kids stood up, and no adult to this point had ever either seen it or stood up for this young girl. She began to have nightmares. She couldn't eat. She didn't tell her parents, because many of our kids that are being victimized have this feeling inside of them. I must be doing something wrong, or this would not be happening to me. And she didn't tell her parents, because her parents were arguing so much already, and she didn't want to bring on anything else in that particular home. One day, a miracle happened for her, and that's her hero, Mr. Peralta, the 7th grade Spanish teacher, saw it happening with the young girl and the bully and all the bystanders, and he stepped in the middle and he said, "This is bullying, and it's going to stop now at this school." He turned to the girl that was being bullied and told her to go to his classroom at 101, and that from now on that was going to be a safe place for her. He turned to the bully and the bystanders and took them to the office. And that day, when he went back to talk to the girl being victimized, he said, "I'm going to be your safe person here. If you feel harassed during the day, you need to come see me." And the reason I share that story is because that was my story. And so later on in my life, what I did, the reason I speak about bullying behaviors is because I was bullied, and I feel like that it really harmed me. It was very painful. And that's why I became a teacher, and then later on an administrator, and now I'm a speaker about bullying prevention. If you're a parent here and you have a child being bullied, it is very painful to be the silent observer. And I want to give you some words to say if you need to say something to the school, say some things to your child, and where you can be an advocate for your child. I also want to just say here that I am so impressed with what Friendswood is doing already. I go to many school districts all over this country, and you've got programs, you've got counselors that are committed to this issue about stopping it. You have administrators that are committed, and I want to salute them and salute the school district for what they're doing. So I want you to know that if you need tomorrow to make a complaint or talk to someone, that you are going to have people in this school district that will listen. And you have a superintendent that's concerned about this issue. And that's not always the case when I go somewhere. So good job for y'all, and I applaud you for your efforts. Okay, now let me tell you what I'm going to do now. I'm going to have you just take a really quick quiz, because no grades. Some of you that hated quizzes in school, there's no grades. And on this quiz, there are some good learning curves for you to look at as far as bullying behaviors. And it's on page, I think it's is it like the 3rd page of the book? It says bullying quiz at the top. How many in here are analytical? Analytical means you analyze everything. If you are, don't do it on this activity. We'll be here all night. Whatever comes to your mind first, circle that answer quickly.